Are we seriously going to talk about Jadeveon Clowney again? In 2025? Just saying the name splits the fan base like picking at an old scab. This is Ethan Carter, and today we've got some heavy hitter news coming from every direction. We're talking a potential bombshell return on defense, a hotshot rookie turning heads in camp, a blockbuster trade being whispered about with a Cowboys star, and an ex-rival who's completely changing the standard for this roster. What is going on in Seattle? Is this just preseason hype, or are we watching a radical shift happen right before our eyes? Stick with me till the end and tell me, are we allowed to dream big again? All right, my fellow Seattle Seahawks fans, before we dive into all the details from this Wednesday with the latest on our squad, a quick ask from me to you. If you, the one who follows the Seahawks Insider Report and digs our analysis, still haven't subscribed yet, please do me a solid and smash that subscribe button. It is absolutely crucial for the channel and for keeping our community of 12s growing stronger. Thanks so much for the support, for real. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the ghost of Jadeveon Clowney might be haunting the Seahawks locker room again. And this time, it's not a joke. No, you did not read that wrong. Here in 2025, the name that once meant hope, then frustration, then became a meme, might be getting a whole new chapter. And it all starts with some not-so-great news. Uchenna Nwosu is officially on the PUP list, and according to Mike McDonald, the linebacker's recovery isn't even close to being done. His exact words, "We're not necessarily close right now," is basically a giant, flashing sign that Seattle is already looking for reinforcements. And Clowney could be way more than just a bad memory. According to ESPN's Brady Henderson, the interest is real. And before you roll your eyes, just hang on. This potential comeback isn't for the 2019 Clowney. It's for the vet who, at 32, still has gas in the tank and a direct connection with Mike McDonald, who he balled out for with the Ravens in 2023, racking up 9.5 sacks that season, a career best. Yeah, he used to be more hype than production, but today he represents something the new head coach's system demands: experienced depth. And here's the part that might change your mind. Clowney wouldn't be coming in as the savior, but as a rotational piece. And for anyone who watched our pass rush completely fall off a cliff after Nwosu went down last year, that could make a world of difference. More than that, Clowney has a history of not just taking any gig. He wants the right fit, the right system. And McDonald has exactly that. An even more intriguing detail. According to Josina Anderson, Clowney is talking to 4 or 5 teams, but he made it clear he wants to play. What if one of those teams is Seattle? We know John Schneider re-upped with the team and basically got the keys to the kingdom to make moves, so this kind of surgical strike makes total sense right now. And let's not forget, the other name on the radar was Von Miller. In other words, the front office is, without a doubt, hunting for a veteran edge rusher to add to the mix. Now, the question that's left is, are the 12s going to accept seeing Clowney in the blue and green one more time? Or does that still sound like blasphemy? Personally, if it's for cheap and a clearly defined role, he could be the kind of piece that turns a good group into a playoff-ready one. But what if Clowney comes and he's just the first name in an even more aggressive overhaul of the front seven, because what's coming next could change everything you thought you knew about this defense? Who would have thought that a rookie out of North Dakota would have the vets' heads spinning in the very first week of padded practice? Well, yeah, Gray Zabel isn't just meeting expectations, he is straight up dominating. And if you think I'm exaggerating, maybe you need to re-watch what intensity looks like on the field. During Tuesday's practice, Zabel was, simply put, a wall. A concrete block planted in the middle of the practice field. Byron Murphy II and Mike Morris, 2 guys known for their own aggression, ran right into the rookie and they bounced right off him. One by one, he shut them down in pass rush drills. And Greg Bell, who doesn't just hand out compliments, nailed it when he said it was his best day yet. But why does this matter so much? Because the Seahawks offensive line is desperate for some stability. We've all seen this movie before, physical freaks who just can't handle the pressure of the real game. But Zabel, he feels different. He doesn't just have the technique, he's already playing with the confidence of a guy who knows that job is his. And it is. There is no competition at the left guard position. Zero. While the right side is still a puzzle, with Anthony Bradford and the UDFA Jared Ivey literally getting into scraps during drills, the left side is locked down in permanent ink. Zabel is the starter. The front office's confidence didn't come out of nowhere either. John Schneider picked him 18th overall in the 2025 draft, a gutsy move that a lot of analysts ripped him for. But the GM seemed to see something no one else did. A player with the potential to be the new cornerstone of a rebuilt O-line. And let's be honest, when was the last time we had a guard make an immediate impact in Seattle? Are we getting Walter Jones vibes back there? Not yet. But the fact that we're even asking the question says a lot. And what's most impressive is how calm he is in his execution. While the rest of the OL is still up and down, Zabel has been a rock. Not every play spectacular, but always solid. Exactly the kind of player who can raise the level of the guys next to him. But that kind of stability has a side effect. It's building expectations. The fan base is already dreaming about what an interior line with Zabel and a consistent center would look like. And that creates a dilemma. Does his success pressure the front office to go all in on other pieces for the O-line? Because with the defense adding names and the offense still trying to get in sync, that balance has to start in the trenches. And if Zabel is that guy, that pillar, the front office might feel bold enough to go even further. Maybe even risk it all on trades that once seemed impossible. Like, for instance, the one being whispered in the halls of the NFL, Micah Parsons in Seattle. Micah Parsons rocking the blue, green, and silver? It sounds like a fever dream, but there are people in Dallas sweating bullets over this exact possibility. The idea of seeing one of the NFL's biggest defensive monsters playing at Lumen Field was unthinkable just a few weeks ago, but now, with the climate in Dallas getting damn near toxic, the whispers have turned into serious speculation, and what seemed like a fantasy is starting to look, well, possible. Parsons' contract has become a ticking time bomb. He and the Cowboys front office are in a public stare-down, complete with bitter jabs, acidic interviews, and veiled threats. And if Jerry Jones gets backed into a corner, he might just have to listen to offers. And that, my friends, is where the Seahawks have more cards to play than a lot of people think. Derek Hall is the key asset in this whole equation. Young, explosive, 8 sacks last year, still on his rookie deal with a huge ceiling. Exactly the kind of profile Dallas would love to get back in a trade, especially if he comes packaged with a first-round pick and who knows, maybe a third that could become a second. Boy Mayfield is on the radar too, but his contract expiring soon and his age work against him. Now just think with me for a second. What if Seattle actually pulls the trigger on that package? What if Schneider and McDonald are truly willing to do whatever it takes to build a legendary defense? Because let's be real. Parsons isn't just another pass rusher, he's walking chaos. A human wrecking ball. A player who single-handedly changes an entire offense's game plan. And yeah, there's the old beef he had with DeMarcus Lawrence from their Dallas days, but this is a different story. McDonald himself has already made it clear that Lawrence is stepping up as a mentor and the emotional leader of this defense. In a new, more mature environment with one common goal, all that could change. The Seahawks would still have to negotiate a massive extension with Parsons, but that's just a detail if you plan for it. And the franchise's history shows that when they want to keep a guy, they get it done. This potential trade isn't just some off-season craziness. It's a statement of intent, a declaration that Seattle is done with being almost good enough. And it fits perfectly with where we are right now. The team has promising young talent, but it's still missing that X factor. The guy who doesn't just lead the defense, but puts the fear of God into the opposing quarterback before the ball is even snapped. The mere speculation has already split the fan base. Some think it's risking too much, burning young talent for one massive contract. But then there are those who see this move as the chance to bring back an era of dominance, like a Legion of Boom 2.0. Only this time centered on the front seven. And if that's really in the front office's plans, then it makes total sense that they're watching closely in practice to see who's really going to hold it down if a trade like this happens. Because the guy who's already showing that quiet leadership is the veteran who just came over from Dallas. DeMarcus Lawrence came in quiet, but in less than a week, he's already the loudest presence on the practice field, bar none. The veteran ex-Cowboy isn't just practicing, he is redefining what intensity means at Seahawks training camp. And it's not just about how hard he goes, it's the natural authority, the presence. When Lawrence steps on the grass, the whole energy shifts. Mike McDonald, who's not a guy who hypes things up, put it bluntly, he's the best drill player I've ever seen in my life. Just think about that. A young, tactical-minded coach who came up in the Ravens system is saying this guy is the most impressive player he's ever coached in a practice setting. That's not a compliment. That's a warning shot to the entire roster, and Lawrence is not messing around. Fully recovered from the foot injury that cut his last season in Dallas short, he came back hungry and angry. It's like every single snap is a personal mission. In drills, he demands total focus. The other day, during one drill, a teammate jumped off sides. Lawrence kicked him right out of the drill. No argument, no yelling, just the weight of a look from a guy who knows what it takes to be elite. That's the new standard, period, and the defense is starting to fall in line. Derek Hall, for example, is already glued to the vet's hip. After a solid 8-sack season, Hall is now soaking up the little things, the hand movements, the footwork. Because Lawrence doesn't just teach technique, he teaches a mindset. He represents something Seattle has been searching for a long time, that undeniable alpha voice from within the locker room. Remember the LOB era? The loudest voices weren't the coaches. It was Sherman, it was Cam, it was Earl. They held each other accountable. Now Lawrence is trying to bring that same fire back to the defensive line. And the response has been immediate. The intensity of the drills is up. The mental mistakes are down. The communication is better, and all of it without saying a single word to the media, just action. That's why, even with all the buzz about Parsons and wild potential trades, Lawrence is already being seen as the true anchor of this front seven. And more than that, his attitude is shaping the entire defensive identity of this team. The Seahawks have young talent, sure, but they were missing a true north, and it looks like they found him. The big question now is, just how far can his leadership take this group? Can Lawrence, even at 32 and coming off an injury, still be a dominant force for 3 full seasons? If he can keep this fire burning, he won't just be vital on the field. He could be the man responsible for forging Seattle's next generation of defensive monsters. And when that happens, the wins follow. But is this wave of change, heavy-hitting vets, impactful rookies, bold rumors, and a coach with an iron fist, where's it all pointing? Because when you add it all up, you get to the one question that could define the entire season. So look at the picture that's being painted here. Clowney might be coming back. Zabel has already cemented himself as a starter. The front office is actually entertaining a historic trade for Micah Parsons. And DeMarcus Lawrence is becoming the new sheriff of the locker room. This isn't a coincidence. It's a clear, aggressive attempt to change the entire identity of this team. But are we actually evolving, or are we just stacking pieces without a real plan? There's a razor-thin line between a rebuild and a renaissance. And you, the longtime fans out there, do you feel like this movement is the start of something huge, or is it just another pipe dream? Let me know in the comments. And if you still believe in these Hawks, this channel is your home.